Everybody give it up for Larry Kaufman.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, AGC team. Appreciate the opportunity to come out here this evening. So, yes, I'm going to be talking about stop selling, start connecting, and start building authentic relationships. So you are going to hear about the NCG factor. A lot of people ask me what that is. Networking, connecting, and giving is the NCG factor, and it's about building life-changing relationships from the onset of college all the way through retirement. So what I wanted to kick off with was talking about your living legacy, and when you're no longer here, what does that look like? Because we can't change the past, right? But starting today, we could rewrite our legacy. And so the things that you're going to hear about tonight, hopefully they're going to sink in and you're going to start to make some changes. So what do people say about you today, your living legacy? If you're no longer here, what would they say about you? And the way that I feel that you can rewrite it is through connecting and giving. So how many of you have hit the trifecta? Fantastic parent, fantastic spouse, and they love you at work. Who's hit the trifecta?
Yeah!
Okay. Who is a terrible, lousy parent?
Yeah!
There we go. Terrible spouse, but great at work. Oh, okay. So we live in this circle, right? Maybe it's your spouse, you're a parent, and you work. And what do you do outside of that? And so what I want to talk about is how you can be a connector and a giver. I'm a connector and a giver. So I love putting people together. I was able to get a couple married. The other week I helped 3 women secure jobs. I put 2 people together for business, and then I received an email from both separately. Here, a 1-hour lunch turned out to be 3 hours. Great connection. Tonight I saw that happening as well. Travis put me together with a gentleman tonight and said, you two need to meet. So it's great to see it. We're not all connectors, but I'm going to get you to think differently. So I'm going to redefine networking. We're here for this great networking event. So I defined networking before the NCG factor. We all came out here to make connections, right? Meet a lot of great people, come to a great event. I have found that networking seems to be about us. That's what I have found networking to be. And so I want to redefine networking when I pull in the NCG factor. I met a woman years ago as a partner at a law firm. And I was introduced to her because they said that she is a super networker. She's everywhere. Everybody knows about her. She's won awards. So we met. And guess what? I heard about her awards. She talked a lot about herself. I don't even think she knew I was there. We had a great meeting about her. And she was a great networker, but it doesn't mean that she was thinking about other people. When you incorporate the NCG factor, you're thinking about the other person and about giving and about connecting, where that happened tonight, putting 2 people together. I may meet with someone at this event and find out that you have a child in college looking for an internship, and we may not know each other, and I may offer to help out your child, and you would think I'm crazy. I don't even know you. But that's the way that I think. That's how you build relationships, instead of what we all do is we sell. So I want you to start thinking about these concepts. So, how many of you coming here tonight to this event were goal and purpose driven? Who had a goal coming here tonight, what you wanted to accomplish? Okay, it's not unanimous, right? Some of you just said, hey, I'm going to show up. Some of you may have said, I want to meet 5 new people. I want to meet 3 new people. I'm coming here because I told someone else to come here because we worked so hard we couldn't get together during the day. Why come to an event without a goal and a purpose? If you network one-on-one, have a goal and a purpose. So start thinking about these concepts. I'm not saying it's a bad thing just to come here to meet, but it's good to have a goal that you want to accomplish. So I just want to take a quick poll. How many of you have had relationship training? Who's been through a relationship training class? So we've got some people, which is great to see. But would you say that most of the training that we have is leadership training, sales training, technical training? What if you combine leadership training and sales training with relationship training? Building rapport is not relationship training. So I want you to think about how you build relationships. How do you build relationships? So if I helped an individual who had a child that was looking for that internship, and I helped their child secure a job, am I starting to chip away at building a relationship? That helps. That's one way to do things. What if I meet a CEO that I'm trying to secure business from, and I help him or her secure a client? Or because I'm a LinkedIn trainer, I do a LinkedIn training to start to build a relationship. A lot of us just walk in and sell, but we don't get to know the people that we're working with. And so it's great that some of you have had relationship training, but most of us don't. So I want you to think about the power of building relationships. It takes us out of that cycle of just selling. After today, you're going to use these 5 powerful words. I want you to use it every day. How can I help you? Think about the power of those 5 words. A lot of us don't say that. I met with an executive in transition the other day, and throughout our meeting, I talked about all the ways I want to help him. And I waited for it at the end. I waited. And I never heard him say, "Thanks a lot for how you're going to help me. Larry, how could I help you?" And a lot of us, we may think about ourselves, but we don't think about how we can help other people. So if you start to incorporate that in your meetings, how about internally? Building internal relationships at your company when you meet with your staff or people you work for. We just talk about business. What about outside of business? And if you incorporate in those discussions about how you can help that person, you'd be surprised what may come about from that interaction. So this will help us build better, stronger relationships. So keep those 5 words. After tonight, what are we going to ask every day in our meetings with people? How can I help you? And guess what? We can ask it at home too, right? It's okay. It's not exclusive to work. I've got another set of powerful words. Imagine that you could ask something where it's really hard to say no. So think about this question. If I ask Travis, "Can you do me a favor?" It'd be almost impossible for him to say no. Now, he may say no after I ask for the favor. Now, this does not work with my wife. She always says no. Always. But if I could ask someone a favor, now think about this. Have you ever needed a favor? It's very hard to ask for a favor if you haven't built a relationship. When do you need a favor? When you're in transition. Anyone in transition? Not many. Anybody hate your job, your boss isn't here, and you'd like to be in transition? Okay. But sometimes you need a favor. You want to raise capital for your business, right? You want to help your child, or you want to help yourself. And if you haven't built relationships, how do you do that? So I want to share a personal story because this is important to me, and I needed a favor from my son. So my son is turning 20 this year, and he experienced bullying throughout his childhood. So really very tough emotional life for him. And so I thought, what can I do for my son that would be life-changing and transformational? So he has a passion for the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm sorry, this is not a local team story.
Just say hockey.
Just hockey.
Minnesota Wild.
So I knew if I could do something that would be impactful and life-changing and help him get connected to the Chicago Blackhawks in some way, that would be something he'll always remember. And so I reached out to a friend of mine, Desmond Clark, played for the Bears in Chicago. I met him in his early 30s when he just left the organization and went into the business world. And just one of these people you meet and you instantly like. And so in meeting Desmond Clark, I found that he was the type of person I could ask a favor to. Well, I reached out to Desmond. I said, can you do me a favor? He didn't even know what it was. He said, sure, how can I help you? I said, well, Desmond, here's the situation with my son. And I went into depth and shared the story. And he said, Larry, I'm on it. I'm going to help you. Within 48 hours, he said, Larry, guess what? You and your son are going to the NHL draft in Chicago. And then you're going to have a meet and greet with a past or present player. Now, we didn't know who it was, so I had to level set with my son. Is it going to be Bobby Hull or is it going to be someone current? So I had to level set. He was thrilled. So we got to the draft. We got a text from one from the Hawks, and we went downstairs, and she escorted us to this private area where these two well-dressed gentlemen in suits walked in with a photographer and a box of memorabilia. It was Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. My son was almost, in tears. It was really very emotional, and I know that changed his life. And what Desmond did in that moment was really powerful. And so Desmond did something, incredible for my son. Imagine if I was a client and he did that. And I think some of us have done those things, right, for people in business or our families. So sometimes you need to ask a favor. Keep that in mind. Very, very important. And so in this instance, that was life-changing. Now, if Desmond ever needed anything legal, I would help him. If he said, Larry, just for fun, because I'm bored today, I'd like you to walk on hot coals for about an hour, I would do it. I would do it. He has done something monumental for my son. Quick CEO story that I want to share with you, because this is really about selling. So I did a LinkedIn presentation. A CEO came up after, said, great presentation, had a question, parted ways, and later that day, I got a message from him on LinkedIn. And he said, hey, Larry, I know you work for this big company. Can you connect me to the decision maker at your company for what I sell? And I was in shock. Has anyone ever done that? You don't have a relationship. You shortcut the whole process. And so I started to type a message. I got distracted. I think I hit send. And then he called me the next day. I'm pretty accessible. Called me the next day. Said, Larry, I'm that CEO. And it looks like you sent an incomplete message, but I'm trying to get the decision maker at your company. I said, you know what? I appreciate that, but guess what? I have a relationship with a board member at my charity. Does exactly what you do. And guess what? He's working with my company. We don't have a relationship. Now, I will tell you, if you had called me up and said, Larry, awesome presentation. Got to feed my ego. Awesome presentation on LinkedIn. I'd love to get together with you, take you out for coffee or a meal, get to know you and see how I could help you. That would have been more appealing. I probably would have taken that meeting, but he didn't do that. So I'll tell you what, if you purchase my book, you're going to learn about me. So if you want to, you can make an investment, purchase my book, come back to me and let me know what you think if you get me now. And then I will take you out for a meal, I'll treat, and I'll determine how I can help you. Guess what? He called me back. He read my book. He wrote an Amazon review. He loved it. He said, I was selling. I was transactional. I was not building a relationship. I'd love to take you up on that offer and see how I could help you as well. We had a great meeting, and we are figuring out ways to help each other, but it was different. He said, this is a wake-up call. Now I understand how to build these relationships. And so that's what we do a lot, right? We're selling. Inner and outer circles, when you need those favors, you need to get the funding for your business, when you want to help other people, we need to define our inner and outer circles of relationships. I tell people I meet with that I want to be in your inner circle. I actually tell people I want to be one of the top 5. What I position with people is I'm a connector and a giver. And so I don't want people to think of me just for the business I'm in. The more interaction I have with them beyond the business, they have a need for their family, a friend, or the business, it doesn't matter. They keep contacting me. What am I building? A relationship. Define your inner and outer circle, and guess what? If you have 10 in your inner circle today, you're out of a job, or you need help, or you're trying to build your business. That inner circle may be 5 or 10 people, which is fine. And you may have 100 in your outer circle, and guess what? They're going to flip-flop. Has anyone been in transition? You reached out to the people that are in your inner circle, and they were terrible. They didn't call you back. They didn't meet with you. And it was not until after you got that job, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I was so busy. But how can I help you now? Right? Big deal. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to wrap up here. I want you to think about setting a goal. How many of you set goals for your business? Okay. How about personal goals, like you want to make $1 million or $10 million? How about this one? How about setting a goal and how you're going to help other people? So I have set a goal that I'm helping people in transition every week. The beginning of the year in January, I was asked to speak to a group of executives in transition. There were about 140 folks. Guess what? I crushed my goal. I'm over 2 years in, but I'm still helping people connect for a job. Think about setting a goal and how to help other people. Reassess where you are. What's your living legacy? Where are you going beyond that? What are people going to say about you? How can I help you? Start thinking about that. Stop selling. Okay, start connecting and start building relationships. Thank you all.